Ebonyi State Governor David Umahi has introduced an NSAS empowerment program and approved the sum of 3 billion naira for the empowerment of young people and women. The state is the first to organize an NSAS Youth Summit in the hope of addressing social issues that triggered the protest last year. The 7-day summit has drawn criticism from some, with questions raised over where the 3 billion naira will come from. Well, for more on this story and other developments in the southeastern state of Ebonyi, Commissioner for Information and State Orientation, Uchenna Orji, joins us now. Thank you so much for joining us on Newsnight.
Thank you.
Okay, so that concern, you've been criticized, and people are wondering exactly where will you get the funds to, finance this project of yours. Where will you get the funds from? 3 billion naira.
Well, I think that criticism must be very constructive. The governor of Ebonyi State, His Excellency Engineer Chief David Umahi, is always systematic in his approach to issues. The 2021 budget did capture the problem of NSAS, and so funding was also captured in the 2021 budget. But essentially, the governor, in compliance with the federal government directive that every state should engage the youths by way of dialogue through summit or conference, had to take the bull by the horn and became a pacesetter by engaging the youths through a summit that is a 7-day summit. And of course, in that summit, youths were allowed to say whatever they can. There is for there to be a virile and egalitarian nation. Arising from the agitations and all the complaints that led to the protests, the unprecedented protests in 2020. And so the issue about 3,000 billion came. The governor felt that this money should be released for empowerment of our youths, not just the people that were involved in protests, but even youth civil servants, anybody that can, draw up a business plan. So how did we come about this? For every funding that should be made available to the people, it must be appropriated. Yeah. So it was appropriated. And of course, at this point, the House of Assembly had to legislate upon it. So it was legally approved and released. The idea of the governor is that empowerment is very critical. Human capital development and infrastructure, to him, they are twin pillars of development that must be addressed squarely and equally for us to have a development in any given state. So the issue of where the 3 billion naira will come from is out of place.
You still haven't really answered the question as to where it will come from. Yes, it will be legislated, or
it has been legislated
yes,
upon
and appropriated.
And appropriated.
Okay. So it's part of the budget for 2020,
is that
2021,
what
exactly.
Or 2021, okay.
2020. This is 2021 financial year.
Yes.
And look, the issue of empowerment to Ebonyi State is not strange, it's not new. The governor had once released a total of 750 million naira empowerment program grant for youth and women, whereof 3,000 number youth and women were given 250,000 each, and that was grant. Apart from that, he rolled out 400 million, 300,000 for empowerments of widows. We call them poorest of the poor widows.
But the statistics, sorry to interject, the statistics in terms of unemployment is still not like really low in Ebonyi State. Yeah,
if you look at the latest good governance index, looking at an analysis by this our national statistics body,
yes, the NBS.
They said Ebonyi State is one of the 2 states in the southeast that is having a high profile of employment and empowerment ratio. How did they arrive at it? They looked at all the empowerment indices, employment indices, including the fact that Ebonyi State is a construction site where even the semi-skilled, non-skilled, and the skilled labor in Ebonyi State is drawn from the indigenous, natives and non-natives who are resident. So there's no issue of capital flight in Ebonyi State. And so I can tell you that Ebonyi State is doing fantastically well in the area of empowerment. That's why if you look at indices of...
yeah, but the real concern for a lot of people, you talk about this beautiful policies and all of that. When you go to find out from the man on the street, they're like, we don't even know what you're talking about. We don't feel the impact of these policies. Do you have a way of exactly finding out if the people are getting this, the impact of these policies? And really, do you have that?
Yeah, you need to appreciate that economic development is very abstract. You need to know it through the impartations.
That's it.
Now we are looking at insecurity as one of the indices or ways of assessing performance. In Ebonyi State, there is low insecurity ratio compared to other states. I can tell if you look at IGP's crime record, you'll find out. Now, apart from that, we have done a lot of empowerment programs that have made our youths and women farmers to get engaged. Like, we are no longer talking about drudges in farming in Ebonyi State. Farming has been mechanized. That has engaged our women, our youths, especially farmers. Look at it. Every year we turn out 53,000 number on average farmers on regularly basis, or rather on regular basis. And what we do is to partner with development partners, donor agencies, federal government, to tap into the empowerment program, the SIP program of federal government, the CBN empowerment programs, social investment program, I have mentioned that, Anchor Borrowers program, commercial agricultural credit scheme, and all of those programs, of course, Empower program and all of that. We had to tap into it, food, school feeding program of the federal government. We did this in order to get our people on board in the area of self-reliance, self-sufficiency, and that has brought about food security in Ebonyi State. I mean what I'm saying. And how do you know all of these things are happening?
Yes.
When the governor moves around, people hail him. Everybody is happy. You see visibly the smiles in the faces of the people of Ebonyi State, and that is unlike before. Before we had inferiority complex, and Ebonyi couldn't even come here to talk about what is being done in the state. But today we can go to anywhere to say that Ebonyi State has beaten all the records in terms of infrastructure, human capital development.
So your infrastructural development is obvious, the work is on, and which areas have you focused on?
Yeah, we are looking at critical infrastructure. And one is road. Road connects agriculture, road connects solid mineral, which is where we have comparative advantage. Road also connects investment, attracts investment. Now, what has the governor done? The governor,
very quickly.
Yeah, the governor feels that even federal government road, state road, of course, that he must do it.
He invested in building those roads.
He did invest heavily, aggressively in the construction of roads. Today, the governor did build all the federal roads linking from Enugu to Ebonyi,
from Abia,
from Cross River, or even from Benue. In fact, apart from Lagos and Abuja, Ebonyi has the highest number of flyovers and the best network of roads.
It's almost sounding like a political campaign for Dave Umahi. Does he have interest in 2023?
How can he?
Is he interested in being the president? What he does arises from God's inspiration.
His interest now is in delivering in the mandate.
Thank you very much,
under the Constitution. Whatever comes tomorrow is God's inspiration. That's why I said,
thank you very much, Honorable Commissioner.
Thank you.